I see a big conflict in the political issues that the Liberal government is facing and the way in which they're speaking in terms of the desire to meet these climate change targets, but at the same time not controlling or regulating the oil and gas industry to a sufficient extent. So all of the discussion about Energy East pipeline is going to drive up the amount of oil and gas production that becomes part of Canada's greenhouse gas emissions. We have to come to terms with the fact that the economy cannot be driven by the oil and gas production. A very small amount of our employment actually comes from the fossil fuel industry. A much larger percent of our employment could come, as is demonstrated by Germany and Denmark, from the renewable energy industry. And we need to focus much more of the coming infrastructure investment dollars into how do we make the renewable industry successful in this country. We cannot keep on saying that the only way that economic growth can be supported in this country is by mining the tar sands. Even the amount of greenhouse gas emissions that Alberta proposes through their new reduced mining will still drive us up above the levels that are shown in your chart of commitments or needed targets. So there's continued conflict unless the government is prepared to address that conflict in ways that explain to our citizens what the impact of climate change will be and how economic growth can come from non-fossil fuel funded activities. You're going to find yourself in an impossible position. You're going to be talking out of both sides of your mouth at two different audiences, and it's going to create a large amount of conflict. You have to resolve the fact that there needs to be ways of communicating to Alberta, the fossil fuel industry, that we cannot continue the way we're going right now, that even Alberta can change the way in which their economy works to be less sensitive to ups and downs of the oil prices by switching to a renewable energy economy. That means building wind turbines, building solar panels, building more, or making sure that the hydroelectric transmission systems can work between provinces, which they can't right now, and things like that. There's lots of ways which have been demonstrated in Europe of increasing the capability of an economy to run on renewable energy. And